Most of the time when these people be talking, I don't even hear them. They talk and they talk, but I do not hear shit when I'm near them. I swear to God that I came.
Hello everyone, it is Val here, and today we're going to be making a video talking about the Vast versus Commonwealth War. So, with me, we have HalcyonCaesar, say hello.
Hello.
We have ShadowDirector, say hello.
Alright.
We have Impulse Melan, say hi.
Yo, I'm here.
And we got HalcyonZoltanus, say what's up.
What's up?
And obviously myself, Val. So today we've got a couple of questions that we're going to be going over and just talking about overall what's happened with the Vast versus Commonwealth War and led to its pretty much end. So, yeah. So, first what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you guys, what did you guys think about the Commonwealth versus Vast War? So, Shadow, go ahead and you start.
Well, obviously I think it was good activity for both organizations. Community-wise, I don't think it's a really big event to be making such a fuss about, in my opinion.
Yep. And how come that?
Well, because it's literally a conflict between, you know, the Commonwealth and Vast. I don't see why everyone else has been trying to interfere, if anything else, and has very strong opinions on the matter.
Yeah, I feel you. Alright. Caesar, you wanna talk about that?
Personally, I feel as if the conflict was very pointless, in my opinion, but I feel like it done the community more good than harm, in my opinion. I do feel as if the Commonwealth was very unprepared for the war, but who am I to really tell? I wasn't really in the organization. I feel like they were very flawed from the start. I think they should have more been prepared and not really underestimated their enemy.
Alright. Impulse?
And the war brings activity into the community, which is something that the community needs. However, I was kind of expecting at first that the Commonwealth would start pounding Vast, since if they were correct, the Commonwealth had some of the old guard, but then quickly that was disproved and Vast got the advantage.
Yep. And Shandon?
My honest opinion, I didn't really know much about the Commonwealth or Vast, but when it comes down to clan activities, I think it was actually a good decision because it created something, and it seems like since Halo 5 has had launch, it's just been kind of dead. I know a lot of people probably disagree, but it seems like clans aren't doing much anymore.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. I think it was good activity for the community. Although it would have been nicer to see the Commonwealth not quit so early on. I would have liked to see more people join the MMA and more people join Vast side. As you saw with the UCA versus Axis war, that was a big thing through the community. A lot of clans got involved. A lot of people I know wanted to get involved, including you, Shadow. I know you wanted to get involved with that. And I think it would have been really cool to see it go for a little bit longer than just a couple weeks. But yeah. So, on to the next question. It's going to be the same order. So overall, who did you guys think was going to win? So, Shadow, you're up first.
Well, going off what the community's obviously been hyping up for years, being, you know, the legends of General JB and Shadow Sniper and whatnot, you know, I would have thought the Commonwealth would have won, going off what I've heard about them. But then I did expect them to have difficulty winning, as they have been out the community for a long time. So, you know, I think it was good experience for them, you know, seeing how far the community has come since their time. So, yeah, I would have said the Commonwealth, but Vast would have had a better chance of winning, also considering they're quite a modern clan than a clan that has more ancient ideas than anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Caesar?
Personally, I thought the Commonwealth was going to win. Not really taking into consideration what their actual area system was all about. If I knew more about their area system and how they were pretty much flawed from the start, I think I would have thought Vast would have won. But since I didn't know that, I always kind of thought Commonwealth would win due to all the vets that were in their clan and Since they had a really good starting point on Halo Reach, I thought they were gonna for sure win, but turns out no.
Yeah. So Impulse, what did you think?
Like I said, I thought not Vasta. I thought the Commonwealth was going to win, and I was hoping they would, but we know the results. They speak for themselves.
Yep. And Shandon?
I was hoping Commonwealth would win, and I thought they would win, but the problem obviously was the ability not to get organized quick enough for it. But my honest opinion, I do think that older ideas do have a place in the community. Like some things do, but some positions need removed for being updated. But at the same time, you can't forget your roots, or you become something else and you fade to obscurity.
Yep. I mean, personally, from the start, it always looked more in Vast's favor, and this is just what I noticed. I think the first thing I saw was the area system, and I really didn't think that was going to go over well. Although that the Commonwealth, they did have a lot of community vets, and I think if they had stick with traditional raids, it would have had a lot better of a chance. But when I saw that they were entering the war using
Really,
just area system,
I don't
area
want to.
system maps.
I don't want to have disrespect towards JB or Shadow Sniper, but why would you want to get involved in something in the community when you're inactive and you can't take direct command? I don't want to sound disrespectful, but it just sounds dumb.
Yeah, well, no, I understand. My thing is I kind of figured that Vast would have won just because of the whole area system, and even with you know, the whole thing that they put up that video saying they're doing a change in strategy. That wasn't technically allowed. I even talked to Vast about it. I got him in a party with myself and Damocles, and we talked to him about it. And we're like, can they just do that? Because that was part of the ROE for the war, was that they would be using the area system, which is partially why I thought that Vast was going to win. But the area system, obviously they knew it wasn't ready since they put up that video, but they weren't even, Vast was telling me, he's like, no, I'm not even going to let them change, because that's part of the ROE for the war. So,
Yeah, that's just one of the parts where he knows, oh yeah, it's a weakness. I don't want to have a fair fight with them. Instead, I want to exploit it and be PC and just like strangle somebody so they can't have a fair game or a fair fight.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
whatever.
here's the thing, though. In all honesty, when you look at it, you would think that, I mean, if you had that opportunity, the Commonwealth kind of screwed themselves over while using the area
Yeah,
system.
but I really wouldn't take the raids as that much of a grain of salt to a degree. It's just sitting in a base and shooting at somebody. Why not
Yeah.
have like an actual like fair gameplay to settle it? But
Yeah.
nobody in the community wants to do that.
Well, I
They're
mean,
scared.
Vast... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Adding on to Shandon's thought is that they cannot bear, a lot of people in this community cannot bear the thought of losing, so thus they have to have like unbalanced raids, and if you try to even bring up the idea of competitive, they just laugh in your face.
Mm.
Competitive is what helps set a good plan apart from a bad plan.
Not really. I mean,
It's
the community that we're involved in right now is a military role-play community. If you want
I
to do
understand.
Well, yeah,
But the thing
competitive,
is that,
That's
and
that's
Shandon
the-
brought this up, was,
Well, no,
and he made an excellent point, was
seems
that
to always force it on everybody. Like, hey, well, you should do competitive because we do competitive. That's not how it works.
no, what I'm
No.
trying to say,
Yeah, I acknowledge that other clans have their own sovereignty and their own decisions, but when it comes down to the point where you're forcing your own views onto somebody else, not letting them change or get updated to a certain way they want to play, that becomes an issue because you're infringing on their right to have a right to play the game at a fair and be treated correctly. That's infringing on other people's rights, and thus he's a hypocrite.
thing is, as I was trying to say, was that like with competitive play, is that like if like as Shannon brought, if you put a competitive player into a raid scenario, as long as he knows what he's doing, then the competitive player is going to be able to function. But if you put a raider in a competitive environment, like even a basic arena, then they're going to be completely lost.
Mm.
It's like,
I mean, it generally depends who you're talking about in general, of course.
Yep.
Honest opinion, though, the role play part of the community should be getting rid of because it's caused more problems and it's caused more drama and it's caused a lot more situations where people are getting
I
spawn
highly
killed.
disagree with that.
Yeah, same. I was gonna say
highly
Spawn-
disagree
that's
with
pretty
that.
much the entire community you're
Roleplay
talking about
aspect.
getting rid of.
Well,
I
yeah,
feel like our
yeah.
community's lacking roleplay more or less.
Well, I think the role play is actually what gave us problems like Assassination Towers, where it gave us the dumb assassination stuff where if you kill
I
the
like
leader, he ends his
assassinations.
clan.
I like that though. I mean, no,
See-
not that he ends his clan, but like it starts wars. I love that about clans.
Yeah, I agree.
It
Like,
takes it into a
assassination-
real perspective. Like if I get assassinated in NRI, like
Halo-
I'm gonna deploy against that clan.
It's like, well, clans were never meant for like what we're doing. They were originally meant for
I know
arena
our community's
gameplay.
forged from nothing. Our community's forged from nothing. That's what makes it unique. That's why I like it.
That's part
There's
of the
no
reasons why I
system for
don't.
us. I always liked our community this way. It's because it's forged from nothing, and you know, we're such a unique community. Like we were never even supposed to be in Halo, and yet we still happened.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, all right. So I'm gonna move on to the next question. So what did you guys think of the area system overall? I mean, what did you guys like about it that you guys saw? Obviously, I don't think anybody here has actually been in an area system raid. But from spectating the VAST versus TCW raids, from looking at it, what do you guys think was its weak points, the pros and cons, etc.? So, Shadow, go ahead.
so do you? Oh, never mind.
Well, I think the area system was a good idea and could have evolved raids and made raids a lot more interesting than it being, you know, the typical raids we've been doing for years now, just running at a base, whatnot. You know, this one's a bit different, and I quite liked it. It would have worked. I definitely would stand behind and say, yeah, this would have worked if they would have spent more time on the idea than just throwing it out and say, okay, well, we're doing it now. Like, they should have spent, and it sounds like a long time, but I'd say around 6 months preparing for that, like, because it's a very big change. And I mean, this idea has inspired a lot of clans to really start looking at doing this type of raid, the area system raid. And it's really interesting. I mean, I couldn't really go into it as I've never done one myself, but looking at it from a third, you know, just from my point of view, it looks very interesting and overall more fun than the typical...
I have to, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm needed outside.
Yep, that's all good.
But just, I'm gonna give my quick thoughts, was that I thought the system was interesting, but it was also deeply flawed, so now I have to go. I'll be back in a few.
All right. Well, Caesar, go ahead.
From my opinion, I like the area maps. I like the whole objective thing, but I honestly hate the war system that's involved with it. I've said this many times. I don't think it's very one-sided. I would never even consider the war system. I like playing till either my enemies surrender or we destroy them or anything like that. I don't like my wars to be, I guess, have limits to them. I like continue to fight until, you know, one clan surrenders or not. So, I know NRI, we will be using the area maps, like using objectives, etc., as like kind of an off thing, but we will not be using the war system.
Yep. And Shandon or Zoltanus.
I liked the idea of it. Just the problem was obviously production, like getting them out made quick enough. But I think it could have been really effective if it was done correctly, because it kind of reminded me a bit of Galactic Conquest or a bit like Invasion. And I do think they can work if you design a proper way to actually get them implemented quick enough.
Yep. See, personally, I thought the area system would be a lot of fun. I thought it would be something really great. In fact, me and Divine Axios have been working on another sort of clan battle system at the moment, which we're still working on. We're still finishing up the first map. So once that's done, we'll be bringing that into NRI, and Divine Angels will be using it as well. But I think it had a lot of potential. I think the main problem is nobody else had any area system maps, and if you did, well, comment below and tell me, because I'd like to, you know, take a look or, you know, actually know if anybody else had any. But from my understanding and from what I've seen, nobody else had any maps, which is a really, really big fault. If you're going up against, especially VAST, where you know they're skilled, you're going up against them in an objective-based raid rather than going up in a normal raid, that's really difficult. That's
It
gonna be
was
difficult.
genuinely a very stupid idea, considering
Actually-
that they've just thrown in a new idea. What
Well-
I think should have been done beforehand is they should have been testing this. As I said, they should have
Exactly.
been testing
Actually,
it for at least 6 months before releasing this.
I like the idea of the area system a lot more too, simply due to the fact that it creates a atmosphere to actually get fair raids out there to the community. It just wasn't implemented correctly. As I actually hate the traditional raid style because it's born literally from spawn killing.
The thing is with the area system, I think it would have worked, but the problem is with it is that it takes a lot more time, a lot more effort to put into one map. For instance, we've still been creating our first area system map, getting the bases down, getting all the little outposts, getting the objectives, the scripting, all that done. And the problem is with that is you have to put in a lot of time and effort in scripting and all of this work that will take that has probably taken us a couple of weeks to just get the base down for it. We had to make the terrain and all that stuff first, rather than we can have our Forge team pop out raid bases every day. You know, I mean, it really depends on that sorts of stuff. And I don't know, I think it would have been good, but I also think the way it was designed, it should have been more of a clan battle versus raid, because I think of raids.
Well, no, it's not a raid though. It's actually considered just an area.
Yeah, the
that's
area
what they called
system.
it.
Like,
Yeah, they called it area, not raids. So
I
it
would-
wasn't even a raid.
yeah, I would definitely like to see more clan battles though, like 8v8s, not big team battle, but a sort of. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's obviously different objectives. This is what me and Divine Axios are working on. There's multiple objectives that you can take, and whoever holds the most objectives at the end of the game wins. And hopefully we're going to do a lot of testing, making sure it's perfect before we even think about bringing it into the clan community. But this way, the way the map is designed is so you can have multiple raids on that same map, and it's not really a defend or attack raid. It's more of a battle. So think of it as like you have each side has their own raid base and a set of weapons and stuff. But you're obviously going to take all the objectives. So I'm looking forward to it. It's hopefully going to be a really fun thing. But yeah. So now on to the last question. So what are your guys' thoughts and opinions on the Commonwealth ending so soon, or ending in general? So Shadow, go ahead.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, you know, as I said before, the entire hype that was going around about, you know, Shadow Sniper coming back to the community, you know, it was such a big hype. Everyone was talking about it, and you know, I wasn't really, as I've said in Dividables, I wasn't really around much in that era, should I say? So I was really excited to see what the fuss was about, and hopefully, I even wanted to face him at one point, take him on, and I'm really disappointed because we kind of need more clans in the community, and there's not enough. I mean, I generally don't understand why they did disband, because they were getting more activity than a lot of clans out there today. So they could have just literally fed off that, maybe surrendered and redone an ROE with Vast and done a traditional raid. That would have just fixed everything, giving them, you know, a war win and whatnot. They could have, you know, there was definitely a workaround, and it's really, really sad to see they gave up so quickly. And I guess it just proved that Vast was the better clan, and you know, the Commonwealth had a lot of bark but no bite, should I say?
Alright. Caesar.
Kind of addressing some points that you brought up, Shadow. I think, well, first off, I am really like kind of sad to see the Commonwealth go. I really thought they were bringing back our old traditional values in our community, such as the whole role play aspect, and I really. Like, that's what I really liked about the Commonwealth. That's why we were there supporting their cause and stuff like that for a while. The reason why I think they ended was not because of just whatever, and I do think Commonwealth could have still been the better clan. It's just they're flawed with the war system. Yeah, I mean, I don't think... See, Commonwealth needed to make Vast surrender or destroy, yeah, I mean Vast, but Vast, they could just keep beating them in a map, and then next thing you know, they're held back to their capital, and then Commonwealth automatically loses, and then they get executed.
Well, actually, what's it called? Z4 made a video talking about that.
Yeah.
What they did is the Commonwealth had to take 9 of Vast's raid bases in order to win the war.
Oh.
And it would be the same thing because there's 9 9 bases within, their entire war system. So it was even. The only problem was, like we said, the Commonwealth had different forms of quote-unquote bases. They had
their
the
area maps were much
operations, they had
easier.
the city, the capital, the area systems, and they were already 4-0. Vast was already 4-0, I believe that was the score.
I don't.
So
Yeah, it's just.
it was actually 5-1, but some raids got taken away from that. But
I just think the war itself. I think it could have been better. It could have been better executed than what it went through. And either way, it's just sad to see Commonwealth go.
Alright, Zoltanus / Shandon.
My honest opinion, I think it was a little hasty. He could have kept running it even if he did lose the war, but if he just wanted to end it, he should have just gave somebody else power instead of ending it. That's my own opinion, because one less clan in the community equals less activity.
Personally, I'm a little disappointed within the Commonwealth because, from what I saw, from all the hype built up, just like ShadowDirector said, there was a lot of hype going on. A lot of people were excited to see, Shadow Sniper and JB back in the community, especially within the Halo 5 community. I think the smartest option they could have had was surrender to Vast and declare war back when they had enough real raid bases to actually do something. Because that probably would have been the smarter approach. Because they might have... personally, when I think about wars, I don't think about, okay, if you lose the war by raids, I don't really think of that as much of a loss. I think of that as, we could have done better and such. Obviously, it is considered a loss, but in my mind, the person who wins the war is the person who destroys the other clan. Whichever clan gets destroyed is the clan that loses the war, in my opinion. So, for instance, Commonwealth, it ended. It lost the war by default. Obviously, it would have lost the war come to the raids, but in my mind, it's all comes down to, how do you end the war? It's not really ended in my mind until the clan's done. Alright, so if you guys did enjoy this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And, yeah, so until next time.